here with Payton Schanen, professional golfer on the Women's All Pro Tour. How are you doing today, Payton?
I've been good. How about you?
Good. Did I pronounce your last name right? Shannon?
Shannon, yes.
Yes, got it. Okay.
A lot of
How are
people
you doing
mispronounce
today?
it. Sorry.
How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. Yeah. So yeah, you were telling me a lot. You've been traveling a lot for BackSwing Golf Events. So can you tell me, a little bit about your travels lately, and just tell me a little bit about BackSwing Golf Events? What you
So
do for them?
so BackSwing was created by Mackenzie and Amanda, and they're
Mhm.
based out of Arizona. And so we're a group of lady professional golfers, and we go to corporate or charity golf events all over the country, and we offer services of Beat the Pro, long drive contest, TrackMan, all different types of services. And we just help fundraise for whatever charity they're trying to fundraise for. And it's a lot of fun. I mostly stay in the Southeast, so like Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and whatnot. Occasionally I'll go out west or Midwest, just depends on availability. But yeah, this was my second year with them and I've enjoyed it. Gone to a lot of cool places, met a lot of cool people, and yeah, raised a lot of money. It's been fun.
Yeah, I know you're from Georgia. Do you still live in Georgia, or have you moved somewhere
Yeah,
else?
I still lived in Georgia, born and raised.
Nice. Do you get to be at home much or not too much? I know you
Um,
travel a lot with backswing, then you play on
Travel
the
a lot
Women's
with
All Pro Tour.
backswing, travel a
Yeah.
lot with uh during my season. So in the beginning of the year, January, I'll be at home, and then February is kind of when it kicks up, and I'll start traveling 3 weeks out of every month. And then now that I'm kind of dying down with tournaments and backswing, I'll be at home a lot more for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I'm interested in Georgia there. Do you have a home course do you play at specifically like in your, off season or
So I'm
um
a member at Pine Tree Country Club, which is in
okay.
Kennesaw. I also grew up playing there for a bit until I think I was 14 or 15 left, and then came back and became an honorary member last year.
So you're a professional player on the Women's All Pro Tour. Can you just tell me a little bit about the Women's All Pro Tour, like your schedule and all that, and just how you got started playing on the Women's All Pro Tour?
So I found out about Women's All Pro Tour at Q School actually in 2021. And I met Gary, who's runs Women's All Pro Tour, and he kind of introduced me to it. And then I talked to a couple girls about it, and they said it's a really good run mini tour. So it goes LPGA, Epson, and then Women's All Pro Tour. So it's a feeder to the Epson tour. And we play tournaments all over, I guess, Texas, Midwest area, I guess you could say. So Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma. And then we have one in Mississippi. And yeah, and that's where I mainly play. And I think it actually is one of the most well run mini tours there could be. And they offer a lot of opportunities for us. So I'm proud to be playing on it.
Yeah, I talked with, what was it, maybe 2 weeks ago. Her name's Audrey. She's the COO of the NXXT tour, and yeah, they're starting off. They have a winter series. Their tour is just in Florida, but yeah, they're starting a winter series, and they're also like the Women's Pro Tour. They're mini tour. I think it used to be like the East Coast Women's Tour.
Used to be the East Coast,
Yeah.
yeah. And
So
then
yeah, yeah, if you have any interest going down to Florida, they're not getting as many players as they're hoping signing up for their
I
tournaments this winter.
actually just signed up for one of their tournaments today, one of their
Oh,
first ones. So
yeah.
yeah, it used to be East Coast Tour, and I played in a couple of those the past 2 years. I actually played when it used to be called the
Mhm.
Eglins Best Tour. Played in a couple of those when I was in college, and then played some when it was East Coast, and then I'll play now that's the NXXT tour.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I hope more people sign up
Yeah.
because the guy who runs it, Stewart, he's a really good guy, and he finds some really nice places for us to play.
So tell me, so I'm interested to know, you played at Mercer. How did you go from, once you finished your college career, how'd you become, professional, um, at least in your
So
experience?
so when I graduated with my undergrad, which was in 2020, I was ready to turn pro, ready to go to Q school. but then obviously COVID happened and they canceled Q school that year. So I had to go back for another year. I went back to Mercer. And then once I was done there for my COVID year, then you just, when you sign up, you just state that you're pro, that you're playing as a professional. And then that's just how it happened. And my first pro tournament as a pro was with Women's All Pro Tour, and it was their fall series. And it was in Louisiana. That was actually my first tournament. And yeah, and then been playing those tournaments ever since.
Yeah, I asked this next question for two reasons. One, because stage 2 of Q school is going on, and also two, for these interviews, I've learned a lot more about how difficult, Q school is. So have you played in any Q school? And if so, what was your experience like?
So I've played at stage 1 of Q school 3 times now. First time was in 2021. I made the cut. So there's a cut after the third round, and then you play the last round at Dyna. So I made it all the way to the last round at Dyna. Fortunately, didn't make top 95 in ties, but I had some Epson Tour status for the next year, and then played mostly Women's All Pro Tour. Next year, had to go back to Q school stage 1. So I played it 3 times. The first time was, I had no expectations. So I was so relaxed, because you hear all these stories of girls saying that it's very nerve-wracking, a lot's on the line. You're playing basically for a job, to have a job for the next year and to be playing at the top level. So I had no expectations. So that's why I think I played so well. And then ever since then, like, it's been in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh, I need to play well, need to get on at least Epson. So it's a grind. It's very grueling, especially being in 110, 115 degree heat. So a lot's going on, but I truly have enjoyed every time I've been there. And if I go back there next year, I'm sure I'll have fun too.
Yeah, so you're on the WAPT tour, and you're in the off season for that, and you said you're going to play maybe a couple NXXT tour events this winter. But what are some of your goals you have for next year, and what do you think your schedule is going to look like for next year?
So I'll definitely be playing mainly Women's All Pro Tour. And then I'll be signing up for all the LPJ Monday qualifiers. I love the grind of the Monday qualifiers. I think they're very exciting. So I'm going to do a lot more than I did this year. I only did 2. So my goal is to obviously qualify for at least one LPJ event, win at least one WAPT event. And then what's cool with the NXXT, at the end of their little season, their winter series, they award the top 5 on the points list. Each player gets 2 Epson Tour exemptions. So hopefully one of my goals is to be top 5 at the end of their winter series, and then play in some Epson Tour events.
So if you finish top 5, do you just get into some tournaments, or do you get into the full schedule of Epson Tour?
Just 2. You get 2 exemptions. So the top 5, we each get 2.
Is that like, are they designated events, or can you pick any 2 events you want to go into?
They haven't explained that yet.
Okay.
But as of my understanding, it's just they pick the 2 events for you.
Okay, cool. So you grew up in Georgia. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got started playing golf? Did you get into it? Did a family member get you into it? What age did you begin playing? Things like that.
So my dad actually got me into it. He took me to a driving range. I think I was about 4 or 5. And I would just hit golf balls with his clubs, just for fun. He was an avid golfer, but he was actually a soccer player. So he really wanted me to do soccer, but I just really wasn't interested in it. I was more interested in golf. Once I got the ball up in the air, I kind of became addicted. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. But I didn't really get serious with it until about, I would say, age 10, 11, 12, around that time. But yeah, he's the one who introduced me to it.
Yeah, did you play any, junior high school golf? And, what are some of your memories, if you did play junior and high school golf?
So I played a lot of junior tournaments, AJGAs, Hurricane Tour events, mainly AJGAs. And then played obviously in high school, Cambridge High School. But yeah, I would travel all over the East Coast and even out Midwest sometimes for AJGAs, try to compete at the highest level I could.
Mhm. So yeah, after your junior career, in high school golf, you then attended and played collegiately at Mercer. Can
Yep.
you just tell me a little bit about Mercer and why you chose Mercer and what drew you to Mercer?
So to be honest, Mercer was not on my radar at all. I was looking to go to Clemson University, grew up a Clemson fan, always wanted to
Okay.
go there. But they wanted me to come a semester early, and graduate early from high school, but I was not um, mentally ready for that. So I just decided to stay. And then I was kind of scrambling to find other schools to go to. And what really drew me into Mercer was that the head coach at the time, Gary Geyer, he handwritten me a note talking about the program
Mhm.
and wanting me to come down for a visit. And I just thought that was a nice little touch because usually just get emails from college coaches, but he took the time to handwrite a letter. And I knew some of the girls on the team at the time from junior golf. And I was like, okay, I'll give them a chance. So I went down and viewed the campus, loved how small it was. I've always wanted to go. Once I saw it, I realized I wanted to go to a smaller school. I just felt more homey to me. Um, and the practice facilities were nice. We practiced at Idle Hour and Brickyard, and they were super nice. And after talking to Gary Geyer at the time and then seeing the campus, I was like, this feels like home to me.
Yeah, so I know you're from Mercer and or you're from Georgia and Mercer is in Georgia. Is that anywhere is Mercer anywhere near where you live or is it not close
Yeah,
to
so
where you
it's
grew
south of Atlanta.
up?
I'm north of Atlanta, so it was only about a 2-hour drive.
Okay.
Um,
Georgia.
at the time, I didn't want to stay close to home,
Okay.
but I'm actually very glad that I did because I am a homebody. It was nice to come home whenever I wanted and see my family. Um, and it wasn't always the goal to stay in Georgia, but again, I am happy that I chose Mercer.
So I'm interested to know, some players they want to stay and, play for their home university. Some players don't. Why did you say you didn't want to stay in Georgia and staying in Georgia, did you get to, see your family much and did they get to come to, home tournaments or
So I always thought I wanted to go out of state and far away
Mhm.
from Georgia as possible. Um, but I don't know. And that was always my goal, even just going to Clemson, even though that's really not that far away from where I live, but I just wanted to be out of state, explore a different state and whatnot. But in the end, I chose Mercer, and it was easier for my parents to come visit if they wanted to, or me to come back home. And they actually did. My dad loves watching golf and he loves watching me play. So he went to a majority of my tournaments. He maybe missed maybe one or two out of the 6 years I was at Mercer. So that was pretty nice. It was always nice seeing a familiar face at tournaments.
Yeah, I have a cousin, I believe she graduated last year. She went to Clemson. I mean, she doesn't play golf, but yeah, I have a family member who went to Clemson.
Go Tigers.
So I want to get into your college career.
Okay.
In your freshman year, you won the Florida Gulf Coast Invitational. Can you tell me what it meant to you to, win an invitational during your freshman year? Because I know for some players it, is a transition going from, starting college and, starting college golf. But for you, you just got right into it and you won in your freshman year. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it actually came as a shock to me. I did not know where I stood at all during the tournament, but my coach was with me the last 3, 4 holes, and with her being there, I knew like I was kind of close to the lead. And then once I actually birdied my last hole and she was like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you, you won." And I was like, "Oh my God, I won." I didn't even expect to win so quickly when I got to college. But I was kind of motivated because the semester before, my teammate Mary Janica, she won as a freshman as well. And I was like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And it actually meant a lot to me. That was actually one that my dad did not go to. So that was weird that I won my first tournament without him being there and seeing it. So that was kind of sad, but I was happy to win. I proved to myself that I could do it. I can win on a collegiate level, and it just motivated me more to keep winning.
Yeah, I asked that question because a couple weeks ago I interviewed a Long Beach State player who won the conference championship in their freshman year last year. And
Wow.
for some players, it's a hard transition beginning, college and college golf. And then for some players like yourself or like that player, they just transition very well and they have success in their freshman year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was
Um,
exciting.
yeah, so after your freshman year, I'm interested to know, you redshirted for a season. So, why did you redshirt after your freshman year? And, what was it like to sit out for a year? I'm sure that was,
So
difficult. You were probably just wanting to get out there and play with your team.
it was very hard to sit out for a year, but I will
Mhm.
say it was a struggle for me to balance school, golf, social, and everything. I was having a very hard time
Mhm.
with that. So my family, myself, and then my coach thought it would be best if I sat out. Um, I actually got diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and ADD. So I had to be put on medication. I was just dealing with a lot at the time. So it was good kind of just to sit back and focus on my academics and my health and, just put golf to the side and just kind of get back on track. But
Yeah.
it was very hard to not play competitively and seeing all my teammates go and playing, and I'm kind of just at home. But it was definitely needed for me.
Yeah, no. I got diagnosed with autism when I was in high school, and I definitely know when something like that comes up, your priorities definitely, shift.
Yes,
That, yeah, I can definitely sympathize with, how difficult that was for you.
it was very difficult, but it was definitely needed. It helped me mature and grow
Mhm.
as 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 a college person, as a person.
Yeah.
But wasn't happy about it at the time, but now looking back at it, it was definitely wise for me to do that.
Yeah, so after your redshirt season, you went back to college and had a lot of success. You tied for first at the Idle Hour Collegiate Championship. What did it mean to you, to tie for first in this tournament and just, go back to college golf and have some success, after taking a year off with a redshirt season?
It was good. I would say I didn't play my best at that tournament, but it was nice coming away with a tied first, especially at a course I love very much in front. And we actually had a lot of people come out and support us from Mercer, from the club. So that was really nice. It was nice to be back and playing. And then my teammates were so supportive. So it was just it was a nice win. It was a bittersweet one. It was nice.
And I have to ask you this question because I'm interested in it. Reading up on you, you got your bachelor's in communications, but then you got your master's in higher education leadership. So, how did you go from getting your bachelor's in communications to getting your master's in higher education leadership? Did you always plan to get your master's, or was that not really part of your plan when you started
Getting
college?
Yeah, getting my master's was not part of the plan. As I said, like once I graduated in 2020, I was so ready to leave. I had a dog. I was ready. I just got a dog, and then I was ready to go to Q school, play professionally, and get my professional career started. But then they canceled Q school because of COVID, and my coach really wanted me to come back to play for another year. Um, and I can get my master's, and that was paid for, or mostly paid for. And I was actually really upset, but I was like, it's a year of still playing competitively because I didn't know if there were going to be any tournaments for me to play in the professional world. Um, and I got to bring my dog with me and I can get free education. So I was like, okay, I'll go back. And then higher education, um, I just chose that. One, I could get it done in a year. And then two, I had a genuine interest in like kind of going down that road of like either being an athletic director, working in admissions, or even being a college golf coach. But going kind of down that line, I had an interest in that. And I actually really enjoyed getting my master's and taking all those classes. It was actually the most fun and the most I enjoyed my work at Mercer.
Nice. Well, I also want to discuss the success you've had in Georgia, outside of college. So you've won the 2017 and 2018 Georgia Women's Amateur Championships, and you were also named the 2015 and 2017 Georgia State Golf Association Women's Player of the Year. So can you just tell me about winning these two amateur championships, and then also, what is all the success in your home state of Georgia, mean to you?
Um, it means a lot. There are a lot of good players in Georgia. It's a very competitive state. And so my first amateur win, which was actually at Pine Tree Country Club, which is my home club. So that was really cool to win a Georgia State Am at my home course in front of all my friends, all the members. And then I actually went back to back next year at Doublegate, I believe that's where it was. And it was cool just to see my name twice on the trophy because you have like Laura Coble, Mariah Stackhouse, all those names uh on the trophy. So it's just cool seeing my name kind of etched in the Georgia history also. Especially as I said, there's so many good Georgia players. Bailey Tardy, Mariah Stackhouse, Brenda Pichter, Laura Coble, all of them, some that now play on the LPGA. And just to say I competed and I can compete with them it was pretty cool.
So if I ask you, what are some things people don't know about professional golf, what would you say to that?
It's not as glorious as people probably think it is. Um, a lot of traveling, a lot of alone time. You're by yourself a lot, and it's financially draining. Um, it's just honestly a big grind, but
Yeah,
I enjoy the grind, but it's just not as luxurious as people put or make it out to be. You have to have the funds. You have to be okay with being by yourself. That's why it's so important to go out and make friends, and then so you can travel with them and whatnot. But I would say the big thing is how financially draining it really is.
yeah, I asked that question because especially when I was, volunteering at the Epsom Tour for 3 days, it really caught my eye that, a lot of players were saying they were struggling, to find host housing, because, getting a hotel for a week can be, expensive and players can't really afford that, so they rely on,
That's
host
why
housing.
I love the WAPT because they do such a good job of every week getting us host housing. I've both years that I played on that tour, I've had host houses for all the tournaments except for one or two. So they do that. It's a really big help for the players to get the host housing because that helps us save money on hotels and even food if the hosts want to cook for us. So they do a really good job of providing that for every tournament.
Yeah, and you also said it was a grind. I know, at least in my tournament, it was raining a lot, so, players are out there, fighting for their careers and, playing in the rain, stopping and starting it was. So definitely can be very hard and challenging.
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
mentally hard too, yeah.
So I have two more questions. What does it mean to you to be a professional golfer? I'm sure that's something, when you were a little kid, you just grew up, dreaming of. And now, you're not on the LPGA tour yet, but, you are a professional golfer. So, what does it mean to you? You know,
It means a lot because it was my goal, as you said, being a little girl.
Mhm.
It's always my dream to be on the LPGA. Um, it's nice. Like this is what I get to do for for my career. I get to go travel to different states and meet new people from all over the country, um, and get to play the sport I love. So it is literally the best job that I can think of, and I'm so happy that I get to play it and meet new people and maybe inspire some others, some little ones. So I truly enjoy it. Don't take anything for granted.